There's a question when you record,
We're live.
because I've acknowledged the people on the screen on the record.
Right, we're live.
Yeah, we did. Okay. Okay, we'll start. We will start the briefing, the public forum. So, welcome to the public forum of the Ordinary Council meeting, the Muswellbrook Shire Council, being held in the meeting room TEC, Tertiary Education Centre, Hill Street, Muswellbrook, 24 February. I declare that the public forum open at 4:03 p.m. Now, before we start, has anyone to declare interest? So, pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest. I understand the councillor that may have already declared that and left the room. Okay.
And I don't get interest about this item.
This item, only this item we're dealing with, only item 911 at the moment, the only item we're dealing with. If we can let the first, councillor, if you're happy to, we have two speakers both in relation to 911, item 911, the Childcare Centre, Maitland Street, Muswellbrook. We have two speakers today. If councillors are happy to give those speakers 3 minutes each, and then the speakers will hang around. Obviously, we'll ask them to hang around so we can ask any questions that we might want to ask after they speak. Councillors happy with 3 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. If we can let the first speaker in, we can let both of them in. Yeah. Please note that the forum is live streamed and will be made available on the council's website. Afternoon, Mr. Long. You heard me then, did you? So that it is live streamed. So this will be made public. The forum's now new format that we have now. All the details of this forum now will be available for anyone in the public to view.
Yes, thank you. Yep.
Thank you. We'll give you. You might have heard me. We've spoken to councillors. We'll give you 3 minutes. There's only two speakers. We have some time, so we'll give you 3 minutes to present. And then, if you can just stay online for us, so we can ask some questions after that, that'd be great.
Yep.
And whenever you're ready.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. As the applicant for the proposed childcare centre at Maitland Street, Muswellbrook, I'd like to reinforce our support for the proposal. As Daniel, our flood engineer, will be speaking after myself, we have proposed a robust flood warning and risk management strategy, focusing on preemptive closure of the site, critically before flood conditions arrive. Essentially, this is a strategy where extremely conservative decisions to close the centre would be made based on multiple flood warnings and trigger systems beforehand. It's a reliable way of ensuring the site is not occupied by anyone during a flood event, removing all risk from the situation prior to any flood impacts affecting the site. The closure strategy will rely on conservative and objective triggers, river level gauges, reliable public forecast data, automated communication tools, and formal staff responsibilities and regular training. The trigger warnings and measures are usually shared at least 24 hours before flood events occur. And in some cases, this information is available multiple days in advance of flood impacts being felt. As we know, flood events do not occur unexpectedly or particularly quickly. Unsafe evacuation situations arise because they are left to the last minute due to lack of awareness and lack of any evacuation planning. Preemptive closures, like the one we are proposing, are recognised and proven strategies within the education and childcare sector for hazards such as bushfire, illness, and particularly flooding. Council have recently approved the nearby K-12 Pacific Brook Christian School, which uses a similar strategy as we're proposing, and the same warning systems as well, and triggers. Despite the approved school being subject to even more severe flood conditions and having much higher student and staff numbers. There's inconsistency in Council's assessment and current recommendation for refusal when compared to this recently approved school, as well as the nearby Muswellbrook South Public School located just across the road. We want to ensure Council and the wider community that we've taken all flood considerations extremely seriously and the safety implications of those, which is why we've engaged Daniel as the best and most experienced flood engineer available to provide his trusted input and expertise. The proposed childcare centre will provide a critical service to families within the community and will make an extremely positive contribution to the entire LGA. Thank you for your time today and happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Long. Yeah, if you can just, we'll listen to the second speaker and then we'll ask questions. Afternoon, Mr. Martins.
G'day everyone. Thanks for hearing me out today. Hope you're all well.
No problem. You may have heard me tell Mr. Long 3 minutes, and then if you can just hang around for councillors in case they have any questions for you.
Yes, thank you. Look, I think thank you. I think Jordan covered the main technical points, and I'll just sort of reiterate them. The floor levels will be above the PMF here. In other words, the site will never be flooded, so there'll be no one at risk. But the primary means by which the flood risk is going to be mitigated is through preemptive closure. And, you know, that's a well-established principle. And in this case, it's very easy to actually see that happening in practicality. So these childcare centres, in my experience, are well equipped with SMS, bulk messaging services that can be utilised hours or days in advance to notify parents of potential closures and actual closures. I think one of the points I'd just like to make, just in addition to what Jordan has said, is that a lot of these areas that I see, which are residential by character, they have an opportunity to be transformed into a commercial character. And one of the benefits of that is that it then regulates the use and actually reduces the risk profile. So here, I understand the concern is that there are children and that they are more vulnerable members of the community. But you've got to balance that against the fact that these children will be assisted by a well-managed and staffed team of about 17 people and a general manager of the business. There'll be administrative duties imposed upon their facility 24/7, so they'll have obligations to manage the site and control the people that do arrive and how they leave from the site. So, you know, what you have at the moment are two dwellings where the floor levels are below the 100-year flood extent. You've got no control on the type of use that those dwellings might undertake and the people that might be there. They won't be warned in any practical way, and they'll be present 24 hours a day. Whereas the converse will be true if this was utilised as a childcare facility. It'll be closed 2/3 of the day or something under that. It'll be managed during the day when it's open. It won't be open on the weekends. And the operator of the site will, of course, be integrating any of these flood risk management measures into the general operations plan for the development. And so I just last thing I'd like to say in relation to childcare centres, they do get approved in the courts as well as outside the courts in flood liable land. And really it is a site-by-site sort of analysis that needs to be undertaken. And the review that I've undertaken here with our team at Martins is that I don't see any reason why this shouldn't be approved. There is plenty of warning for the flood risk management measures to be put in place and for persons to be notified that the site is not open for business or likely not open to be for business on the following day. Thank you.
If there are any councillors with questions, Councillor Morris, you don't need to stand.
Thank you. I've got two questions. First of all, for you, Mr. Martins. In your opening statement, did I hear you say that the site will never be flooded?
No, the floor levels of the building, they're above the PMF. Probably makes it flood.
The floor levels will never be flooded. Thank you. That's what I read too. And did you both receive the report from the SES on their analysis of the area?
Yes,
No?
I have.
What did it say for their report regarding their safety and the additional workload that would be placed on the SES?
I don't see that as being a realistic assertion. I mean, the SES will not be involved in this site. I can't see that practically arising. In fact, I see that the workload on the SES is going to be reduced. I mean, look, just practically, there will be a person that is the manager of this facility. I've had 4 kids. I understand how these childcare centres operate and how they work. And, you know, they have these systems in place, and I think we've attached something similar into our flood risk advice. And when I've seen the actual software, how it operates, how the bulk messages are sent, it's a trivial exercise to issue a message to parents to say, an East Coast low is on the horizon. There may be flooding in the next 1 to 4 days. Or if a flood watch has been issued, 24 hours notice, the site will be shut. So if a flood warning is issued, 12 hours notice, the site will be shut. There's no reason why this can't work, and there's no reason why this would be any burden on the SES. It would be a reduction in the burden to the SES.
Any councillors, any further questions? Councillor Scholes?
Yeah, I'm not sure which of the gentlemen would address the item. Just looking at the council report, I assume you 2 gentlemen have seen the council report. Yeah, my question is basically referring to the council officers in the report are quite heavily with regards to the suggested objection of mainly the flood event, but they've identified other issues which they have identified but haven't really appeared to ask to be addressed. So there's a whole lot of things like storage. Some of in my part of the report, the noise studies on 62 people and it doesn't actually go. There's a lot of items that our officers have raised, but have not necessarily been addressed at this stage. They're relying particularly on the flood issue, but there are other items identified which have you guys viewed and have come up with an action plan or a response to council officers with regards to that?
No, not as of yet. Obviously, the flooding information or flooding issue is the overarching issue. And the rest of the stuff, the concerns raised by council officers, I mean, the noise, I'd say, and any inconsistency between reports, between the acoustic report and the statement, fairly easily resolved, as is all the information storage. These are all easily resolvable issues in our opinion. But yeah, so that's why we've focused on the flooding aspect for now.
Thank you.
Well, the only other comment was it's just an observation. I don't speak is that one of the regards to noise and thing is the 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. operating hours. I would suggest at least 30% to 40% of the workforce that reside in this town are shift workers. So purely daylight hours doesn't preclude the houses being around here not being with people in the mirror trying to sleep in daytime.
Yeah, in response to that, yeah, we're completely open to looking at operational hours proposed and potentially adjusting them to.
I don't provide exactly. Thanks.
Councillor Dunn, you had a question?
Hello there. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was there something where you said that there could be 100 children at the daycare centre, and yet in the other paperwork we've got it said it's up to 65? Can you correct me?
Yeah, so the correct figure is up to 100 children.
Oh, up to. Okay.
Yes.
So, all right. Secondly, have both of you been out to the site? You have, Jordan?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
I've not been to the site. My team's been there.
Okay. And thirdly, you mentioned that Muswellbrook South is across the road and Hunter Pacific will be just up the road and that they're able to evacuate. But the age group of children in a childcare centre are very different, where you've got a whole cohort who can't walk. We're not up to the walking stage yet, so that worried me a bit.
Yeah, I guess, or maybe you'd like to respond first, Daniel.
Yeah, I mean, look, the principle here is that there won't be a need to evacuate because the site will be closed. So, I mean, there's a land environment court judgment just came through in relation to a childcare centre in Willoughby, and if you get a chance to have a read of that one. But the same sort of questions about evacuation were raised there. It was a similar sized childcare centre. It was different sort of flooding. It was flash flooding affected, so the response times are very, very quick, and there was no notification period as there is here, so it was a higher risk site. But look, the commissioner found that it was reasonable that people could evacuate the site, even in the short time that they had available here. But again, just to emphasise, that's not the proposal here. The proposal is to make sure that the centre is closed.
Yeah. Thank you.
Councillor Douglas.
Yeah, in relation to the amount of children, it doesn't seem to comply with the size or the ratios of indoor and outdoor space. Have you looked at that? So
Yes.
the amount of space you have to have for each child indoors and the amount of space you have to have for each child outdoors. So, yeah, previously 65, you're saying 100. Do you think that this current build allows for that?
Yeah, it was our understanding, I think mid last year when we were talking to the assessing officer that, yeah, we did address the unencumbered indoor and outdoor space. But if it needs looking at again, yeah, we can adjust the design as well.
Thank you.
Any councillors got any further questions? Councillor McNeil.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a question in relation to the type of flow, the flood, in the event that it was a flow. Does your study show that there will be more backwater or fast flowing water?
Thank you, Councillor. We've prepared two documents. One is a flood impact assessment document, and the second one, which has been the primary focus of the topic today, was the risk management assessment. The flood impact assessment found that the development would not cause any detrimental impacts on flows or velocities on adjoining properties or levels.
Thank you. And yeah, I think I definitely agree with what you're saying in terms of the warning systems that are available. We do have warning systems on the Muscle Creek catchment, but just as an offside, they did have a flood in Victoria recently on the 18th of January where there was no warning and, well, very little warning. Cars ended up into the ocean. I think you recall that. So I think you're generally right, and we do have those warning systems, but it's not, I guess, absolute.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just would add, you've got people here that are being paid and are trained to manage these facilities, and that sort of distinguishes it from what was, I think, quite a catastrophic set of videos for the Victorian. They were caught well off guard as those poor people that were washed out to sea. But there is a distinction. Thank you.
Yeah, very good point. Thank you.
Any further questions from any councillors? Thank you, Mr. Martins and Mr. Long. Thanks for your time this afternoon, and we'll now finish our audio, and you're welcome to watch the meeting back at 5 o'clock commencement. You can watch it live stream now. So thanks for your time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Are they both gone?